Hello everyone and welcome to Watmore Farm Fishery. What a fishery this is as well. It's been a long time since I've fished this place and it's a crying shame really, but I don't know why I haven't. It's got some amazing fish in it. It's mostly a carp fishery, as most fisheries are nowadays, but there are some fantastic roach in here to catch, and those are the species that I'm here to catch today. It's been a long time since I've done a bit of proper roach fishing, and this is definitely the place to do it. It's an old gravel pit, and it's very deep in the middle, and I'm not going to be venturing that far out to catch the roach. What I'm going to be doing, first off anyway, is starting really close in the margins in the really shallow water, and then if there's no roach picking up in there, I'll be moving out a little bit further every single time until maybe I'm casting further out into the deeper water and picking the roach up on the drop if they are a bit further out. I'm surrounded by a little bit of hedgerow here, which is going to give me a little bit of a place to find fish and to cover. I've got some reeds ahead of me as well, which I'm going to be casting to first. But I'll probably feed up 2 swims, one by the reeds, one down by the hedgerow here, and hopefully pick up a few fish down in there. There's lots of other species here too. I know there's rudd and perch and bream, so I might pick up a few of them, so that would be nice too. But my primary aim today is to catch some nice roach. I really love roach fishing, and it's nice to have a venue where there's some proper roach fishing to be had. It's set to be an absolute scorcher today. Currently I set up with some trees just behind me, and the shadows of the trees is just making it nice and cool and really comfortable. But I know that's going to change. You're going to see me sweating bullets later on. But never mind. I mean, it's not really the best roach fishing weather, but it'll have to do. It'll have to do. Anyway, I'm going to set up my rod. I'm going to find the depth, because the depth is very variable here, at where I want to be at. Set a little mark on the end of the rod tip so I know where it is, and then start fishing. Float fishing is the aim of the game to begin with. I do have a feeder rod with me, just on the hedge behind me there. Should I want to be casting further out, I've got some ground bait and some little cage feeders to send out with the maggots and pellet hook bait I've got. But again, just the old homemade waggler float is on the line. Got a plummet on the end, and we'll see. Send it out into the area, which will do a little margin cast. And it's a lot deeper where I want to be than I think it is. So I'm going to slide the weights around the float, send it back out. Oh, we're nearly there. We can just see the orange of the tip of the float just under the surface. So it needs to go a little bit further up. Vitally important you find the depth of the water you're fishing at, especially if you're float fishing. It's always handy to know regardless, but yeah, especially if you're float fishing, you want your bait to be presented perfectly on the bottom. If you've got too much line drag along the bottom, if you over depth the float, you're not going to have to pick up those bites. Equally, if you're not touching the bottom, your maggot or pellet hook baits can be suspended right in the middle of the water, and the fish aren't going to pick it up because it just doesn't look natural. Unless, of course, you're fishing on the drop, which I may do later on. But even then, you want to know where the depth is. Otherwise, you could be... Oh, just knock myself out with the plummet. Even then, you could be fishing way up in the water or way over depth. Right, it should be about right. It's very variable. I've just got to make sure when I put this float out, it hits the same spot every single time, because a few inches out like that and the float's sinking again. Oh, actually, no, that's quite nice. It's about an inch above the water level, and that'll just keep the bait on the bottom. I'll do that. Oh, almost lost my thing. Of course, got my white out. I'll take the plummet off. Whoop, 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 whoop. Ouch, God, that hook is sharp. Oh, that's good. Take the plummet off. Put the hook onto the little eyelet here. Wind it up. Ba, ba, ba. Try not to get the rod in the water, if I can help it. And just where the tip of the float is. Put a little mark. I can get the white out. There we go. So, and that way I know precisely where the depth of the water is. For that particular area anyway. And I can adjust it if need be. Or if the hook comes off or the line breaks, I can find the depth really easy again just by measuring up against the rod. Actually, scratched off all the old Tipex. It was covered in Tipex. Brand name. Other white-tailed pens are available. But yeah, it was covered in it, and I've managed to scratch them all off so I know precisely which one it is, because it was getting to a point where I didn't know which thing I was actually doing dots and circles and smiley faces on there, so I knew which one was which. I'm just being lazy. I need to clear it off. Anyway, I'm ready to go now. Get some maggot in, and hopefully bring in some roach. Well, I must have planned something right, because the first fish of the day is a lovely roach. Look at that. Brilliant. At least the fish are there. In you go, buddy. Oh, a bit slimy, but get another maggot on. Ping. Swing it into position. Ah, lovely, perfect shot. Let's get another one. Keep sprinkling in the maggots. A little pinch at a time. Key to building up a swim and getting fish feeding in this situation is putting in small amounts of bait, but quite regularly, just to make sure there's always things trickling through the water. So I'm going to strike that. A little dip on the float. It could have been a small roach, but it wasn't. I can see quite a few fish topping out in the middle there, picking off flies. This swim is full of flies, buzzing around like gnats. Not flies, gnats. Don't know if you can see them floating in the air. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit later on. So there's plenty of them, and they're little gnats and bugs and grubs will be falling on the surface of the water. That's why you get the ripples, fish coming up and feeding on the top. Oh, no. Again, another little pinch. Chuck in. It's one of the benefits of fishing close in. You don't have to do much in the way of expending energy casting. And it's always good to fish the margins first anyway, I think. There's no point casting all the way out into the lake if the fish are close in. And then by doing that, startling the fish in the margins which are near you and not catching them. So I like to start close in and move further out as the day progresses, depending on where the fish are and what the fish are doing. Anyway, be a bit of a slow start to begin with. Until the swim builds up, but once the fish move in and the bait's in there, I'm sure it'll pick up. But a roach first cast, not bad, not bad. Here's a rare species of fish. Blimey, don't see many of these. Oh, look at this. The Western Australian stickfish. Imported from Australia. Gorgeous, gorgeous creature. Look at the plumage on that. There goes that nice shade from the trees behind me anyway. God, a roaster. Absolutely sweating. Luckily enough, I've got my somewhere in my bag. Searches. Aha! There we go. I've got my tan lotion to protect myself from the worst of the rays, otherwise I will crisp up. It's vitally important to get some of this on if you're an angler. Vitally important. The sun is an absolute killer. So many anglers I know who've had skin cancer due to not covering up and not putting on tan lotion, sitting in the sun all day long, particularly on their face. I always wear long sleeve shirts to protect my arms. Always got the hat on to protect the old baldness. Vitally important. Keep a shirt on as well. I know a lot of anglers like to sit there semi-nude on the bank catching the rays, but it's not good for you. Really not good. Anyway, there is a slight breeze just to take the edge off, and that's a good thing. Come off. What I've been doing is catching plenty of roach, plenty of perch, little skimmer bream, sort of straight on the bottom in the margins. But I've been noticing a lot of fish quite a bit further out coming up to the top and topping. Now I've put on my patented rudd rig because I assume they're a rudd. This is just a stick which lays on the water, and then just at the bottom as it dangles, a little maggot right close to the surface. I'm just flinging it out, chucking a bit of maggot out, and hopefully hooking one of whatever they are. You would think they were rudd. Rudd feed on the surface of the water. Oh. Or maybe little carp, or even roach. Roach come up to the surface of the water. However, I've been discovering that isn't the case. They are a species of fish which don't normally venture up to the surface layers. Particularly boiling on the surface like a rudd would. And what we are little perch. Oh, there we go. I'll show you. Get him in, he's kicking about. Whee. There. Oh, crazy. I've never known perch to be so ferocious as they are in here today. But it's great. It's really, really great. I imagine what they're doing is they've got into a big school, and there's a lot of little tiny fish, fry, all milling around. And I think they'd be going to like a little frenzy. It's a scorcher out there. Oh, I've just beat a hasty retreat from my swim just there to go and sit in the shade for a bit underneath this lovely oak tree. Huge tree, gorgeous. Whew. It's been a hard day, very hard day. Not through fish. I've had loads of fish. You've seen the fish boiling on the surface, going absolutely crazy. It's been a really hard day to concentrate, absolutely near impossible, due to one particular bird, and that's been the red kite. There's been 8 of them soaring around the lakes here, round and round in circles, fighting and playing in the air and twisting and turning. And they've just been mesmerising to watch, absolutely mesmerising. During the 80s, the red kite in this country was just so rare, really rare bird. And they did a reintroduction program, I believe late 80s, early 90s, to try and get the red kite back again. And boy, has it worked. We have red kites everywhere, and the ones here have just been absolutely fantastic to watch. As I say, all those aerial displays they've been doing, but also they've been swooping down onto the water and picking things off the top. I'm not even sure what, maybe little fish, or I don't know, what would they be eating on the surface? I guess the fish must be what they're after. But they're just swooping down and picking them up. I've been trying to get some videos of them, but it's been really difficult to time it. And of course, all the time I'm standing there watching the kites, I'm not fishing, I'm not catching fish. But it's just been a fantastic distraction. But it has been difficult to fish when that aerial magnificence has been happening all the way around you. At one point, I was putting on a couple of maggots onto the hook, and one swooped down into my swim and picked something up, I don't know what. And then flew off like an osprey would, coming down and picking things off the surface. And if I'd have swung my float out, I could have caught it. It was that close. It was magnificent to watch. Shame I didn't catch it on video, but it's been so hard to sort of predict when they're going to do it. But it's been absolutely delightful, absolutely delightful. I don't mind getting distracted by beautiful birds like that when they're flying around, and in such numbers as well. And very confident, not worried about anglers or people wandering around. After that little break, I decided to go onto the feeder, just have a little bit of a change really. There might be a few bigger roach further out, right in the middle. Well, not right in the middle, of course. I'm not that good at cast. I'm not going to cast into someone else's swim. If I can grab him, what it's resulted in is another one. Oh, bit of reed. Another one of these lovely little bream, another little skimmer. Very nice. Happy with that. Oh, hook's fallen out in the net. Would you believe it? Excellent. Right, I'll come back catch a few more of these. Yeah, these have been breeding as well, with little bumps on top of their head. But yeah, I could do a bagging up on some of these. The perch have been fantastic, and so have the roach actually on the fly. But a few little bream, I'll be happy with that, and maybe an odd carp. Who knows? But there might be some nice big roach out there somewhere too. Tell your buddies, especially the roach, Steve's waiting for them. Come on. Anybody seen the Goonies? Hey you guys, Yeah, I slothed younger brother. Oh guys. Probably through someone striking a bit too hard when they're carp fishing. A bit of damage from an angler, that is. However, very strong, hard fighting fish, and certainly likes a few maggots with a bit of ground bait in the feeder and a few pellets. Very nice. It is absolutely baking. I can feel my skin sizzling. Ah, so much sun cream on, it's unbelievable. The problem is, the sun has shifted round now, it's right in front of me. But you don't just get the full sun from that, you also get the reflection out of the water. And the sun is currently right there, just beaming into my face. Got to find a way to cool down, I think. I'll head over to the trees again. God. I'm sweating. No matter how much suntan I put on, I've still got red. Should have bought an umbrella. Desperate times call for desperate measures. That's right guys, the shirt is off. It's not staying off because one of the things I really despise is peering over a beautiful scenic natural view and seeing some blimmin' angler's man boobs sat there. The shirt is going in here. And then it's going in the water. And then it's going on a little bit of a ring. So cold. Cold, cold, cold. Cold, cold, cold. But so nice. God, chilly, chilly, cold. But so good. Right, that's the feeder done for the day. That's distracted me enough, and I'm moved back, just moved into position, and I've moved back into the margins again. Now it's getting a bit towards the evening. Hopefully the fish will start moving in, and the roach seem to have started moving in as well, which is great. Whee! Off you go. Hopefully the perch will stay away a little bit and I can start catching some roach, which is what I was supposed to do all day long, except I've been distracted. Well, I've had a few roach actually, but as the evening progresses, let's get the roach fishing going. The roach is a quintessentially British fish, I think, like this one. It used to be like the most popular fish in the UK. People would go for miles around to catch a roach. I think it's probably been overtaken by carp nowadays, or something like perch. Perch are very popular at the moment, but there's something just amazing about a roach, isn't there? I think when people think of a fish, they probably think of the roach. Its beautiful red fins, its lovely orange eye. It's one of the most magnificent fish of all, especially when it gets big. A 2-pound roach is always, I'm looking for my towel. I'll find it later. Oh, it's here. A 2-pound roach is always on the top of any angler's wish list when they go fishing. It's just a magical fish. They're very rare and hard to get, but if you can get one, oh, it's probably one of the biggest fish you'll ever catch, a 2-pound roach. However, they do get bigger. The British record roach is over 4 pounds. A 3 pound roach is impossible, absolutely impossible. The chances of catching a 3 pound roach are slim to none. The anglers who catch them are levitated into the Hall of Fame when it comes to angling. Yeah, so as such, I've never caught a 3 pounder. I've never caught a 2 pounder. But the more you go, the more chance you have of catching them. There are some 2 pounders in here, so with every dip of the float, you never know if you're going to catch that really magical, beautiful, special fish. Not that even the smallest roach isn't beautiful, magical, or special. As the light starts to fade in any part of the day, it's roach time. And the roach here know it. Look at this guy. Gorgeous fish. Exactly what I've been after today. Fantastic. Yeah, they like it when it starts to get a little bit, pop you back. They like it when it starts to get a little bit sort of dusky, and they, the flies start coming down onto the water with the warmth of the day receding. All the dust and flies tend to rise up with the heat. But as it starts to cool, they all start to come down, and the roach start to feed. And on top of that, the predators that would normally predate upon them, particularly like herons and things like that, don't tend to be about in the evening time, usually about during the day. So they feel a bit more confident, and they feel much more confident to feed. And if you stay till last knockings here, you're going to get some good roach sport, which is exactly what I was after. There we go, guys. It's the end of the day here at Watmore Farm Fishery. And what a beautiful day it's been. Far too hot for me, mind you, but absolutely beautiful. Look at the scenery behind me. This is why we come fishing. And a kite. Oh, look at that. Quintessential. You couldn't have planned that, could you? The kites have just been absolutely amazing today. Diving into the water like the one behind me and just putting on a show, a real show. And it's been very distracting trying to catch those fish. But catch those fish we did. And despite being distracted by the perch and me thinking there were rudd on the surface, but there were more perch and a carp and the bream on the feeder. Finally, just as the evening came in, those beautiful roach came in, pouring into the margins, and I was able to clean up just before it was time to go home. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Like and subscribe, and watch all my videos, enjoy them, and I will see you again another time on the bank, maybe with less weird anglers wandering around. Thank you for joining me. Bye.